Let's try it. Oh, there it is.
There we go. That took forever.
All right.
Yeah.
So what I was saying is, I took a colored pencil to even out the bridge of her nose because it was going cockeyed.
Okay.
It's going cockeyed because I'm looking at it at an angle. Also, her eye is a little bit too big. Now, I wanted the eye to be big because I wanted that's the focus is on her face, is that particular part in her eye.
Yeah.
But not disproportionately big, so I'm going to have to tweak that. Which, as you know, I like to treat as a learning experience for people.
Yeah.
Okay, so what color is Snarl?
Okay, so funny story. I wasn't really sure.
Story, but
I had to literally, like, I was going through my manuscript and I was like, and apparently he's gray with red hair.
okay. Well,
Like a
hair is going to have to come later then, I guess.
I guess, sorry. It'd be, I mean, I don't, yeah, you're fine. I just, literally, I was like, oh, that's a detail I forgot. And that's the problem with not working on the same project every day. Or working on really long projects that, you know, you forget these minor little details you made in the spur of the moment.
Well, I think that's why 𝕻𝖎𝖎𝖓𝖙 used to say, even when you're not writing about a specific character, if it's one of the main characters or an important character,
Yeah.
always remember to have one of those characters think about them. So, what color is it? You said blue, gray?
I said gray with red hair.
And I pulled the Payne's gray out too.
Well, he's in shade. That's one of the tiniest things on there.
Huh?
You're talking about Snarl, right?
Yep.
So, like, he's primarily dark. I mean, like,
Well, he's coming out of shadow, so. But I was trying to have these color tones, notes,
yeah.
you could follow throughout the picture.
Okay.
And gray isn't really a good. Let me rephrase that. Let me think about how I want to say that.
What do you want to know if it's a warm gray or a cool gray or?
No, it doesn't matter because he's coming out of fog, so I can play around with that aspect. That's just like 𝕻𝖎𝖎𝖎𝖓 being really green. It's really he's my favorite green. But I'm only going to do that as he's coming out of the shadow.
Right.
And the shadow color can really be any color, and sometimes it's better to have it be opposite color. But so what I was going to say about gray is that when you have a lot of colors on, like a lot of color on the palette, sometimes it's so loud that each part is fighting for attention.
Right.
And the way that you have that color harmony is to put gray in there. So if I'm going to gray other stuff out, then he's going to kind of literally be grayed out. So I think what my solution is going to be is to use like Payne's gray on him. And just do it on the highlight spot. Little really want to pull some local color up into her so that she's a little bit more of a background in here. So we've got a little bit of local color coming from each direction.
Okay.
And I was going to put some orange in here too, which is ironic because these are colors that don't really harmonize with the core colors of the creatures. But I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay.
There'll be a nasty mixed color in some places, but that's okay because that's like coming over that purple with that green gold. Kind of has a nasty blend to it, but that's okay because it kind of enhances the whole darker, nastier side of what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm going to try to not go overboard on 𝕻𝖎𝖎𝖓𝖙𝖎𝖓 head or on 𝕻𝖎𝖓𝖙𝖎𝖓. Snarl, they were related in some way. I know they're like distant cousins or some shit.
Sure.
I don't know. I keep confusing them. So.
Wait, is 𝕻𝖎𝖎𝖓𝖙 an orc?
Yeah.
Okay. Ogre and orc. I mean, I know an ogre is bigger, generally, but
No,
I'm
not an ogre.
I know that, but that's why I was like, wait, is he an ogre? It took me a minute to remember which one was which.
Yeah, he's an orc.
You know that those comic book scripts that we submitted?
Yeah.
Are we ever supposed to hear anything back on that? Or just...
Apparently only if we're winners.
Do they announce their winners?
I don't know. I don't remember what they said.
All right. Was curious.
I thought they said that they're not guaranteed to answer unless you're a winner or something, but
Right.
that's a cop out, right?
Well, it's. I mean, on one hand, there's no reason why they should have to send out emails to everybody. That's not what they're doing, and I get that. So that's fine. But just at least saying, "Hey, we'll announce who the winners are by this date."
I think they did. I just don't remember
Uh,
what it was. Well, this could be a terrible mistake. We'll see.
oh, okay.
Well, let's see.
Okay, so I had a question about your gray nights that you had mentioned, and I know there are differences. I'm not trying to say these are the same thing, but maybe I'm crazy and you can tell me that. But would Gray Knights and Ronin be somewhat comparable?
Hedge Knights and Ronin would be comparable. Hedge Knights are lordless knights.
Okay.
Gray Knights can be lordless knights, or they can be covering up the colors of their house. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're a more covert version of a knight. I think they did that in red as well. Like they did like flat red cloaks instead of doing like wearing their house coat of arms or whatever. Their livery. You see how interesting that is when it starts mixing in with the reds and the oranges that I layered in there?
Yeah.
Because it's not like a strictly green color, but there's like enough yellow in it to mix in with the reds and the oranges, but also enough green in it to look a little swampy. So, what were you thinking? You wanted to do Ronin?
No. No. I was trying to figure out the boundaries of what they do. That's all. I mean, I was trying to figure out. I mean, to understand the concept well enough to know how to incorporate it, and that's why I was confused with. I mean, again, that was my question. I was like, okay. Yeah, so I didn't. Okay, so there are no real hard and fast rules that have been made because nothing's been published. But I didn't. I didn't see Mastiff being the, I guess, knight type. In that
Neither
I don't.
did I.
What?
Neither did I.
Oh, okay. Well,
I keep telling you, I didn't say Mastiff should be a knight. I said I would like to incorporate this kind of a group into the story. Not him. It doesn't have to be his group. That would be a kind of totally different thing than I was saying.
Okay. Well, again, that's why I thought it'd be a good time to talk.
Okay.
Because
Well, I'm not trying to berate you or anything. I'm just saying that that wasn't what I was thinking. Like, I wasn't. You said something before about you didn't know how you worked Mastiff into the Knights, and I was like, the last time you said that, I was like, I didn't intend him to be a Knight.
Okay.
Like,
I guess
I'm expanding the universe, I think, and you're thinking of just this one story, and I'm not.
Well, I've also thought. I mean, I've thought about quite a bit on this actually. I just I've been trying to get a good handle on Mastiff's personality and voice, and
Well, see, I thought you had that already.
well, I thought I did. I don't, and I think I still do, but I shuffled things in my brain a bit about Mastiff.
Well, that happens when we're writing 4, 5, 6 different stories.
Yeah, your palette starts to get kind of muddled in some places. Like, oh, I like that color. I'm going to use that color over here. And, yeah. So, whatever. But,
Yeah, so, like, I wanted to take the idea of these knights that kind of took things into their own hands. So they wouldn't be like really Ronin, because Ronin were masterless samurai and ended up being thieves. Really, they were just pirates with skills.
right.
Land pirates with skills. But
Banditos with a really good PR campaign.
what?
They were bandits with a really good PR campaign.
I don't even know if they had a really good PR campaign.
Oh, we call them Ronin instead of bandits. That's a PR thing.
Well, Ronin means masterless samurai. Like it means the wandering warrior. So but in a caste system, you already know that they're going to be bullies because they're warriors. And they have the right to bully just about everybody. In that caste system, anyway. So the difference is that generally the Grey Knights wouldn't be thieves. They wouldn't be trying to so much take somebody else's anything as right wrongs that they saw that they couldn't do openly. Kind of vigilantes, but only as an organized, like an organized group of vigilantes. And I think really you probably want to look into a little bit more about Knights and Grey Knights and companies, because a lot of companies were raised on their own, or Routier. Routier would be a lot like Ronin, but only a company of them. They were just pretty much terrorists every town that they came across, because they were basically hired by a king for a battle, and then when the battle was done, they were just left to go on their own and find their own way of making money. So they're like, well, one thing we know is
But
Payne's Grave for Snarl.
let them just be a highlight color. It doesn't matter. I mean, again, it really.
That's what I'm doing. I'm going to do a wash, and then I'm going to do a highlight with it, but I've got to start with it. I haven't put any white on the canvas yet. Well, in this area yet. All the whites on here are actually mixed in with purples. There's no true white on the canvas. It just looks like there is, because it's in comparison. Okay. Well, when I make some money off this, I'll buy you a book that you can check out what I'm talking about with the historical fiction book. Because I can't loan you one from my library, which really sucks. It would be awesome.
So you know how we had the blood runners?
Don't tell me you're going to change the blood runners now.
I don't know if I'm changing. Oh, I mean, I suppose. I guess I am. I'm just throwing this out there. I'm throwing it. What if there was something like a? I see it more like Three Musketeers, but like the Musketeers, but they're kind of for that organization.
Kind of like the Three Musketeers?
Well, I was thinking more like the Musketeers, but you know.
Okay, because that was the organization, the Musketeers. They're just
Right.
three of them wouldn't give up on the king when he was kind of deposed.
Right. So, but I mean, that's kind of an interesting concept of that.
It's basically a similar concept to what I'm talking about.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to incorporate
Okay,
your.
so if you take knights and then you go into the 1600s, you get musketeers or tercio.
Right.
They're still knights. They just don't have armor. They have harquebuses and pistols and rapiers.
Right.
Usually matchlock. Well, what I was talking about was taking the idea of a core of them like that and putting them in the timeline that we're in to see how that would work.
Okay.
So it's the same thing. You're just picking a different part of history. So we advanced 200 years, and now we're.
Well, I like to make sure that you and I are on the same page. I mean, I guess if it's basically the same thing.
It
So
is basically, it's very, very similar, except for that. The Three Musketeers is similar to what I'm talking about because the Three Musketeers went against everybody being canceled. And I'm talking about knights that went against what their coder or commanders would tell them as well. Some of them did it under a command of the Lord, but they generally that's the same thing. They're just the Three Musketeers. It was supposed to be a disbanded Musketeers.
Right.
You could probably leap forward in time and find something else as well.
French Foreign Legion.
Well, I think the next step would be the Minutemen.
Okay.
Guess I'm gonna have to break down and get off the way.
Sorry.
It was inevitable. Just wanted to hold off just a little bit longer.
So I saw a video about Andor the other day that said it's basically it's breaking the rules because it was one of the lowest viewed openings of any series, but instead of tapering off, it kept getting more and more.
Yeah, all I hear is how good Andor was.
Andor was amazing. I mean, there are certain parts of it where I kind of rolled my eyes, but nothing can be perfect. And I'm telling you, the 𝕻𝖎𝖎𝖎𝖏𝖏 character is one of the most interesting characters I've ever seen. But Andor was basically look out, how terrible life is under the Empire, and you have a relatively clear cut enemy, and it's not necessarily all men are terrible and evil and bad. It's you have good people that are men and women, both. It's a very even here. I would say there might be a little kind of anti-Trumpism, maybe.
Oh,
and well, there's this one scene where she has this rhetoric, and it's kind of, I was like, all right, whatever. But for the most part, I mean, for anything coming out of Hollywood, I would say this is pretty darn good. So I guess that's my way of saying, if you want to find some politics, I suppose it's there. But for the most part, the politics are.
It's ironic that I would love to watch something where I had to look for the politics to see the politics. The problem that I've got with most stuff is that I don't even have to look and it's there. And it doesn't have to be, prominent in your face. It's just so obvious I can't miss it. I think that's part of me getting older and crotchety or something, but I see it all over the place. And do you expect us to buy that shit? Ooh. What happens if I mix green gray and green gold? Wow.
What?
Eli. Doing his impression of a tauntaun. He holds his breath and slowly lets it out.
Okay.
When he's got his earphones on, he's pretty bad about it. It's pretty loud. It gets pretty loud. It could possibly be too much purple. And by it could possibly be, I mean, that's too much purple. So, Coach, paints always dry darker, right?
Say what?
Acrylic paints always dry darker.
Okay.
They dry darker than what you put them on. So.
Oh, you are?
No, sir.
That's right.
I do like this soundtrack.
Yeah.
That almost sounds like that Eastwood High Plains Drifter.
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah. He's got a cold. I think whatever was making me sneeze and wheeze all weekend, well, most of last weekend, I guess. See, Thursday of last week, that was the night I could barely stop sneezing. And then even yesterday, I had a hard time making it through the day because I couldn't breathe. My inhaler wasn't doing a whole bunch.
I'll just set that there for a second.
Okay.
It's been kind of calamity day for a while.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Happened to go upside down.
Well, because the thin lines, it's easier for me to throw.
Yeah.
No way, son.
You say the dog was barking?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was asking what your dog's name is.
Biscuits.
Did you hear that, Eli? Eli? You can't hear shit, he's opening his neck. Brett said his dog's name is Biscuits. He's got a volleyball game tomorrow. Home game. He's talking about his Renee showing up, which is a he hopes thing. How's that look? Better?
Yeah. I'm gonna move you to my big screen. Hold on a second.
Well, I'm just trying to focus on the eye here for a minute. Gonna do so without knocking my cup of water off.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Almost done with her now because of that. I think what I'm going to do though is I'm going to come back in when all is said and done with my 𝕻𝖎𝖎𝖎𝖓𝖌s and do a little bit of black cleaner line here and there.
Okay.
Well, I told you at the beginning it's probably going to be mixed medium.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by it. Some colored pencil here and there. I wish I had some more different size brushes. I have a bunch of them, but I was painting with oils too for a while, and once you paint with oils with a brush, you can't use it for acrylic. Because, you know, oil and water don't mix.
Yeah, it's just a conspiracy theory.
They're trying to keep us separated.
So now the nose looks right to me.
Okay.
It looks much straighter to me. Anyway. And ostensibly, that's your highlight color for 𝕻𝖎𝖎𝖎𝖎𝖎. 𝕻𝖎𝖎𝖎's going to make an appearance here. I'm going to hide him in the background. He wants to come in. Apparently he feels left out. Helicopters flying overhead again.
It's probably the CIA looking for you.
They must be fucking bored.
You've been posting too many things on Facebook.
If they're looking for me, they're fucking bored. Nope. Speaking of you being sick, how are you?
I think I'm on the mend. Like, I'm going to need to have another breathing treatment tonight, and I'll probably need one tomorrow morning for work. But that's not too bad. And I don't know. I still have a cough, just like she does. It's just that I think I'm farther along than she is.
So what's important here is the value. It can be any color, just so long as the value is right. I'm trying to use some of that green for the highlight.
Okay.
Just on the part that would really stick out far enough to get some of that highlight from that color.
Okay.
What color do you figure 𝕻𝖎𝖎𝖓𝖌's horns are?
Oh.
Hold on, let me check something. Just I don't think I've ever said what color his horns are.
I don't think
It's
so either.
perfectly fine. So instead, what I'm doing is looking up different horns.
Well, I know what we had for reference, but that's not going to work here because they have black horns.
What's that? Oh, yeah.
Because they also have white fur.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess. Oh, that's fun. I don't care. I've never said what color they are. If you want to make them a different color, make them a different color.
Well, I just see it being hard trying to do the black.
Well, what about a kind of?
I mean, this is a relatively tiny part of the painting, right? So we're not going to get anything too detailed, right?
Right. I think we want it to be a lighter
What about a light
because
teal?
everything else is really dark around it. So
What about a light teal?
I don't think you're going to pick up the teal. I don't think you pick up the teal very well
Okay, so
because you've got a kind of a bluish. You've got a kind of a bluish gray, and then you've got a green, and then you've got a purple. So that's all kinds of blue tints and stuff in there.
okay, so what would you recommend?
Hold on, right now I'm trying to find a reference for your 20. I did get references for kindness. All right. Well, there.
Oh,
Kipper.
that was aggressive.
Nothing like when you get woke out of a dead sleep with that.
Yeah.
That's across. That's actually in another room.
My neighbor's holding it.
Yeah.
How dare they? Cereal. What are you?
You have Amazon Prime, right?
Yep.
So, did you ever watch the Jake Gyllenhaal Roadhouse?
Yeah.
How would you describe his overall personality?
Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah. In the movie.
I don't think it changes movie to movie.
Well, okay, but I just,
No, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying, like, I have never seen anything that he's been in that's different from anything else. Like his acting, he's always got that kind of dumb grin on his face, and
can't really help his face too much, but
yeah, you can help that stupid grin. That's like George Clooney. That's what I can't stand about George Clooney. And he's dying in fucking perfect storm. He knows he's gonna die, and he's got that stupid grin. Says, "I'm making $8 million off of this."
there's a weird stoicism that I think that character has that isn't really prevalent in his other things. So
I don't see him in that any different than the hell was that video game movie, Prince of Persia, or
I never watched that one.
it's the same, like Prince of Persia, and there was a, was it the Hurt Locker?
There's that one where I haven't seen it, where there's the guy and the translator that saves him. I don't know what that.
And it's like he played the boy in the bubble. It's like no different than anything else he's been in. In my opinion, he's, you know, like, so you can take that however you want it, but it's like Jack Nicholson. Like Jack Nicholson is Jack Nicholson in no matter whatever he's in. He doesn't try to play somebody with a different accent, like Sean Connery. He's the only Russian with a Scottish brogue. You know, you hire them because they're them, and I don't think that Jake Gyllenhaal's there yet. He doesn't have a specialty, like say Al Pacino. When you go and see an Al Pacino movie, or if you're going to see a Samuel Jackson movie, you're going to expect them to yell at somebody. And if you don't get that yelling at somebody at some point, you're going to be kind of disappointed, right? Because that's the character you're paying to see, even though it may not at all be the character that you're paying to see. You're paying to see their antics and the way they would pull that off. It's not really anything against Jake Gyllenhaal. I just don't think he's versatile enough to be different than anything else I've seen him in. Like, so far, it hasn't been. And I'm not saying, I don't think the problems with that movie are due to Jake Gyllenhaal. I think they're due to trying to recapture something that's long gone. What Patrick Swayze and
they made a movie that had. I mean, I don't mind the 2020.
Sam Elliott, like, because you're not going to replace that whole Sam Elliott and.
Oh no, you're not, and
I think that's part of what the expectation was going in, is it has to be just as badass as that combination. I mean, obviously you couldn't have Sam Elliott's character in there because he died. And I think that they tried to link it well with Patrick Swayze character. I just don't think it succeeded.
a part of that's the whole. I don't know. He's very laid back, and the character in the original movie. It was. So the original one has the whole "be nice." They call you, a cocksucker. Are you one? No. Okay.
Be nice until it's time not to be nice.
Right, and Jake Gyllenhaal's character, not him, but his character, kind of had the I'm trying to avoid the violence type thing, while also punishing myself because I'm dangerous.
That's the reason that he was trying not to trying for trying for no violence. The sole entire reason that he was trying for no violence
Yeah,
was that he knew he could hurt somebody bad. Well, that was the same thing with Patrick Swayze's character, remember?
I
Because
guess, but
he had killed somebody by pulling their throat out, the same way that he did with this dude,
right.
or the dude that he did at the end.
I don't know. I didn't buy it in 2024. I just was like, okay.
Hold on, I can't hear you because Eli's running water. Because I can't hear him because you're running water.
I thought
I'm
you said
not
because he
worried,
was.
I'm not worried about you. I'm not worried about you hearing him because you're running water. I'm going to mute because he's not.
Ah. Uh-oh. That was muted.
Yeah, well, I can't fault his reasons for running water because he's trying to water the dog, trying to give put water in the dog's bowl, and the dog and cat share a bowl, which means that the cat doesn't get into the water until the dog runs upstairs.
We have 3 bowls of water because we have a cat, or 2 cats and a dog, and I don't think they care which one they just and they will all 3 drink at the same time. They'll make the dog wait. They'll wait for the dog.
Well, usually if the dog is drinking, he will drink the entire fucking bowl. Literally, I'll fill that bowl with a half a gallon of water,
Wow.
and he'll have that gone. And the cat's sitting there meowing because he's thirsty.
I said, "Yep, nice cat." Anyway.
So they don't drink together. Either the cat runs away or the dog runs away. Either one of them will run away. So it's not specifically which one does or doesn't run away, but
Oh, my screen froze. Huh. There I go. All right. That was weird. And I'm frozen again.
what's that?
Oh, my screen keeps freezing.
Well, we can hear you though.
That's all.
Or
That
at least
matters.
I can hear you. At least I can hear you, and that's something. What color is this cape again? Blue?
Who?
Huh?
Oh, Roar?
Yeah, there's only one guy with a cape in here. I
All right. Yeah. Okay.
think
Blue.
you said blue, right?
Yeah.
Well, that painted spray is trying to dry up pretty fast.
Okay, I'm going to take my mid-show stretch. I will be back in just a moment. Not bad. I'm also out of breath. Oh.
Yeah, you kind of sounded winded.
Did you hear about the about Trump's plan to get rid of the income tax and replace it with tariffs?
I heard it.
Here's why I don't think that will ever work. Because, and this is my conspiracy hat going full blaze, but I was watching a clip from what was it, Boardwalk Empire with Nucky Thompson, and it's got a very young Al Capone before he's the man of Chicago, you know. So I was just thinking about, they get Al Capone on taxes, and like, what is the government like? What's one of the biggest threats the government has? Oh yeah, we'll stick the IRS on you. Take away the federal income tax, get rid of the IRS, and you've gotten rid of something that the state uses to cudgel people with. So I don't think the state, I don't think that the government will allow it. I don't. Like, I don't even question the feasibility of, like, would the money, you know, like, work out and all that kind of thing. I don't pretend to know. Like, I think that's a pretty complex issue, and that's a pretty drastic change. So
I don't know if you can just say, oh yeah, that would work, or that would not work. But I know it's they have done that before. But
there's a reason why they passed an income tax. So
Oh yeah, there's an argument there. Like, I'm not going to do that, but there's definitely an argument in that.
Well, I know I am not the economist to say if it's feasible or not, but
well, it's feasible. I mean, that's the way we had it for most of the time. Well, I guess half the time now. But.
Right, but we also going to have missiles that cost several $1 million a pop and things like that.
What's that?
Our military-industrial complex was nowhere near as large either.
Well, for the time, it was different.
I agree.
It was just as expensive in comparison, really. But that we could make do on tariffs, and I think actually it's a pretty brilliant idea. I don't think it's going to go through either, but I do think it's a pretty brilliant idea, because then what you're doing is you're not taxing your citizens. You're allowing them to choose whether or not they want to buy stuff from a different place that costs a higher tax. You're not taxing everyone, or nearly everyone, however you want to.
Well, it's still a tax. Like, no matter what, you're getting taxed.
No, you're not getting taxed. Only if you're buying something else, but you know ahead of time that that's going to be more expensive. If you're buying U.S. made stuff, there's not a tariff on it,
and that's fine. But I'm telling you, it's still a tax, because that allows U.S. companies to not have to fight the prices of foreign competitors.
Yeah, it's not a tax on U.S. citizens, though. It's a tax on foreign companies.
Which I get that, and the problem with that is that the customer always pays those things.
Actually, the customer has a choice whether they want to pay them or not. That's
right.
The difference, and that's my only argument with you. You don't have a choice in the income tax system. There's no fucking choice. You either pay it or you get in trouble. And technically you're not supposed to get in trouble unless you signed a W-2, because a W-2 is where you sign an agreement to pay income tax. Before that, you don't sign an agreement to it. We don't have a choice as far as income tax goes at all. But
you have lots of choices.
well, yeah, you can go to prison or you pay income tax.
Or you can avoid
Make
having an
payment.
income.
With that,
You can avoid having an income. You can invest in capital, so it's on the capital gains that you're paying. There's all kinds of ways of dealing with taxes. And most people don't pay taxes anyway, or a good portion of them don't. Not federal. So when you say there's a choice that, you're locked out of quite a bit of a choice with that. I mean, and I'm not saying it's a bad plan even.
yeah,
There are
it's
trade-offs.
the choice of, I don't want to buy that because I don't want to pay that.
Well,
That's a big difference between you have to pay income tax and
you start looking at
if you don't want to, just don't buy that shit.
well, okay, but I would have to see what the tariffs are on. But if it's on
Well, they're
damn
on
near
foreign
everything,
stuff, so I mean,
then you would end up people who the stuff that you have to buy. It's a form of price control, and
only if you look at it as you have to buy foreign, which the whole point is that you're saying you don't have to buy foreign anymore. It's not cheaper to buy foreign anymore, and that will change the economy that way.
right. So you've basically taken a cheaper choice away and insisted on a higher cost.
No, you're just making the cheaper price not cheaper.
Yeah, you've
You're
taken
not
away
you're not making anything higher except for that.
okay.
But the choice is that if you don't get that and you get American, it'll be cheaper because everything will be cheaper in America. Oh shit, I lost my place. Like everything will be cheaper in America if the regulations are cut and all the things that Biden undid are cut so that they can make a profit easier. You can turn that back towards your customer, which is what they couldn't do before. So it does change the dynamics. And I'm not going to quote, I'm not going to call all the changes that it's going to make, but it does definitely change the dynamics. It's not just making one thing more expensive, it's making it easier to do things in America at a cheaper rate, and that will trickle down. That's the whole trickle down effect. And that's the idea behind it anyway. Whether it works,
I understand
works
the
out
idea
or
behind
not.
it.
Whether it
And I
works
don't.
out or not, we'll see. But I'm definitely not going to say that I'm against making taxes disappear, because we did it for a long time. Actually, when we balanced the budget without having income taxes. There's only one president that had a balanced budget. That would be John Quincy Adams, if anyone doesn't know. I don't think, with that said, I don't think Trump's going to be a miracle worker. I don't think he's going to get in office and then everything's going to just be golden.
It wasn't the first time.
You know, it wasn't the first time, but there's Congress to consider. There's, well, they're not going to be able to pull the bullshit that they did the first time because they tried and it's already done. And nobody buys it anymore. So that's going to be one positive out of that, is that they're not going to have the fucking Russian hoax and all that bullshit any more than they're trying to do right now. They got nothing. I don't know, like, even, I don't know if you thought about it, but although I like the idea of Elon Musk going in and doing the redoing the spending, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if necessarily that's going to make it where we want to be either.
Well,
but putting a whole lot of trust in somebody who has a company that's going to benefit from.
Yeah, but I think they're basing that off of how he came into when he bought Twitter, and he just analyzed it. And he just saw it as being ungodly inefficient.
Oh, I know.
And
like I'm not saying that that's not even. I'm not saying that that's not even true. You know what I mean? That's not what I mean. What I mean is that he also will have other motives for what he decides to downsize.
Well, they all have other motives. That's the problem.
Right, but you're putting the world's richest man in charge of cutting out departments that could be regulating him. That's a conflict of interest. That's no less of a conflict of interest as any of the other stuff. I'm just putting that out there as a fact. I kind of want to see what he does, you know what I mean? But on the other hand, you definitely can't say that he's not gonna fucking benefit himself from it. That's like, have you heard the I think it was the Senate. There's a senator trying to pass a bill that you can't buy and sell stocks when you're in the Senate. Because if you buy and sell stocks when you're in the Senate, it's the equivalent of insider trading because they have information that all the other traders aren't privy to. And it's completely reasonable when you think about it. But the argument is that so you have to stop running a business or you have to stop, your investment plans because you've become a senator. So, I mean, how do you weigh that, right? And that's the same thing with putting Elon Musk in as the head of a department that's supposed to eliminate unnecessary offices. Oh, he could just say, well, this has been getting in my way for years. It's unnecessary. Bye-bye. It's just, absolute power brings absolute corruption, right?
I get that, but here's what I would say to that. If that's how Machiavellian he is, then...
I don't know. I'm just saying...
Let's say he's that Machiavellian, then why did he ever piss off the left, which is way more into the environmental movement? They used to love Elon Musk. They thought, he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Here he was making electric cars and blah, blah, blah. And, this is the way it all should be and blah, blah, blah. Then he started saying, well, you shouldn't be canceling people. He basically got red-pilled. And then now he's hated, right? But, okay, so...
I don't know how... I'm sorry, but what you're saying, I'm unsure of how him making it possible for to do things that he would have regulations made against him for. I don't know how that directly relates to the environment.
Because his cars were supposed to be environmentally friendly, and it was supposed to be this, why we should look at Tesla. These are all wonderful cars. Go buy your electric car.
That's assuming that Tesla is the only thing that he's into, and it's not. And you've got the whole SpaceX thing, you've got the whole telecommunications thing, and there are other things that he's into.
But I'm saying,
do you know about his talking about making implants, computerized implants to control limbs and stuff like that?
Yep.
Okay, so that's not the same as Tesla, and it wouldn't be environmentally restricted. So I'm just saying, I don't know how that relates to all his businesses. It's just one aspect.
Because government does the regulations.
Tesla, but
again, government.
Not just what?
Interrupting me every time I talk. I know.
I'm just asking what you said.
If government does the regulations, then it makes sense. And what you're saying is, well, if he gets into government, he'll be able to mess with regulations. Okay, but what would be the most logical way of doing that? Piss off the left and all the environmental freaks there, and thus piss off your donor class of the Democratic Party.
So you did that.
He's pissed off one whole side, and I'm sorry, when it comes to communications and things like that, I mean, the tech sector is also heavily left. So he's pissed off all these people for 4 years at the risk of persecution, because the left, we've already seen it. They will use lawfare against anyone and everyone. They'll go after people's lawyers for being lawyers. So why would Elon Musk, I just don't see that as a smart move, if that's your only goal. Because there are other ways he could have done it that would have been a lot easier, a lot cheaper, and
I don't know.
Wouldn't need the hate.
He's already got the hate. What I was saying is that he will have the ability of saying, well, this commission is getting in my way, I can get rid of it. I'm not saying he will, I'm just saying he'll be able to, that's all.
Oh, God, what was the guy's... God, I hate this guy. He was from Nevada. Harry... He's in the Senate. I remember right before he retired, he supposedly had a gym accident. I can't remember his name. He made he came up dirt poor and made a fortune in real estate after he got into government. It was amazing.
Right.
And then Nancy Pelosi's family that does, if you could trade the same trade she makes, you'd be richer than hell.
Right.
And
that's what I was trying to propose that is not possible after that. That's what the proposal is about.
Right. But I just... That grift is going on, and I don't think... I'm not as worried about Elon Musk being greedy, because he has his fill. So as long as he can still do his projects, I think he'll be fine. So far, I haven't seen his projects be bad. Although the computer chip thing, the brain thing, is kind of freakish.
We will see. That's what I was saying, man. Like, you're taking it to the extreme, and I'm not taking it to the extreme. I'm just saying that he has the ability to. He has the ability to do certain things once he's in that position. That's all.
Yeah, but
It doesn't mean he's going to do them. It just means he has the ability to do them.
Well, that's like, I mean, yeah, Hunter Biden's paintings are worth $500,000 because, let me see, it's his artistic merit. No, not artistic merit. Oh, right, because it's a great way to launder money. There's, I guess for me, when I think about Elon Musk being in that position, you're right. It could be corrupt and it could be corrupting.
Yeah, I'm not saying it will. Just it could be. That's all.
And the left will definitely throw that accusation out, 100%. That's one of the things I always thought was funny because they would, Trump milk the system too. When he had people staying in his own hotels and then being reimbursed, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a little shady, but at least it's a service. At least it's something. Whereas Biden just makes money because, yeah, why? What's he selling? What's his family selling?
Secrets.
Yeah. Why is the Clinton Foundation? They made enough money to buy Haiti, and yet look at Haiti. It's just, I don't know. I just find a lot of that to be absolutely the worry about people making money. I agree. It's not something we should encourage or endorse. But
well, I'm just saying I'm curious. I'm not 100% anything there. I do like the idea. I want to see what he's going to do, but I think that what's missing is some oversight. Because you're basically saying he's going to be the oversight, but there doesn't need to be any oversight of him being that.
that's why we have 3 different branches of government. There's overlap.
Yeah, so they tell me. I haven't really witnessed it, though. Not much, anyway. Especially
I know one of the things I was pissed off about.
When the judge in Virginia tells you that you have to put
Right,
non-citizens on the ballot, and that's
I was
definitely
bitching about that,
unconstitutional.
and so I was complaining about that because when I first heard about that, I didn't under. Yeah, it seems incomprehensibly unconstitutional.
It
But
is.
there are some provisions. You can technically remove every single one of them. Still, even now, it just has to be an individual assessment, not a systematic assessment. And it was only certain people. Like, it's not as bad as what I think I was made to believe it was, when it was more along the line. It follows state law and federal law. There's part of it has to do with the 90 days, and the fact that it wasn't. No one went through and said, this individual person. It was just a blanket thing. And so if they want to go after individuals, they can.
Yeah, it's bullshit on its face. It's against Constitution to put somebody on the ballot, to allow people to vote when they're not United States citizens, because it states in the Constitution who's allowed to vote. So to remove them isn't a change in voting law, it's enforcing existing voting law. Since the time of James Madison, that would be the 4th president of the United States.
Yeah, but it's the provision of, if, let's say you for some reason were part of the systematic review and you got booted off and you couldn't vote, which I think is still a little suspicious because I think you could do, my wife had to do it last time. oh, I forget what it is, but basically they weren't going to counter vote until later, until after she came in with an ID, because her ID was stolen the night before. She had her purse stolen out of her car. Whatever. And provisional ballot, that's what it was. But the argument, as I understand it, is that 90 days before an election is too soon if someone's kicked off to be able to remedy the situation so they can vote, supposedly. And so there are some provisions for that. And again, it's not about
what I heard actually was not that.
Well, okay.
I'm just saying, like, what I heard is disparity from that. What I heard is that they removed a lot of illegals
Right.
from the voter rolls, and a judge made them put them back on. Didn't say anything about reviewing them or any of that. And that 90 days, it was 88 days that the DA or whoever made that decision. So it was well within the margin of error. I think it's bullshit on its face if you're telling us that we have to put people that are not allowed to vote on the voter rolls. Period. If they are not citizens, they have no right to vote. Matter of fact, they have no rights, actually. All the rights that are granted in the United States are granted to citizens. Oh boy.
What?
Oh, Amanda sent me something with a tattoo, which, if she sent me something with a tattoo, I probably don't want to see what it is.
Uh-oh.
Usually that ends up being a matter of things that shouldn't be tattooed.
I'm a little worried when you say things that should not be tattooed.
Right. I'm a little worried because I know that that's generally how it goes. I don't know what those things are as well. I don't know if it's a body part. I don't know if it's a horrible tattoo. I don't know anything about that at this point.
on the economics of the tariff thing, I would be interested to hear what Thomas Sowell thought about that.
Well, we'd have to resurrect him first.
Thomas Sowell's not dead.
I thought he was, actually.
Oh my God, I will be kind of grumpy if he's mad because I did not realize he was dead if he was dead.
I thought there was a rest in peace for him, so. Like Terry Gard died today.
Well, so far, Wikipedia says is, as far as I can tell, and has no death date. So,
Okay, well, if he's alive, then Trump should.
He's only 94.
If he's alive, Trump should put him in charge of the economy.
I don't know if he would want to do that, but I would at least be happy with him advising.
Well, who would want to do that? You don't know if Trump would want to or if Thomas Sowell would want to.
I don't know if Thomas Sowell would want to. I mean, if you're 94, I don't know if you really feel like messing with it.
Well, like last I heard, he was making commentary on all this political correct bullshit.
Yeah.
And who might? You know, Trump's getting up there as well, so.
I know. Which is nice to see J.D. Vance. Like,
Oh yeah, he's doing Joe Rogan.
I know, but it's also just nice to see a young Republican who seems to be able to hold his own against the media and be like, yeah, I'm not gonna, this is bullshit.
Yeah,
I know.
He's a much better orator than any of the guys, any of the people. I don't want to say guys because then people
Yeah, I
will
know.
think I mean men. It doesn't matter whether it's men or not. He's the best orator that I've seen. He sounds very down to earth. Even Obama didn't sound very down to earth to me. Like I know that they claim he was a great orator, but to me he wasn't really all that special. J.D. Vance sounds like he's honestly talking to you. You know what I mean? It sounds like he's one-on-one conversation with you.
Yeah, but no matter what, if you're a Republican, you're not going to have fawning coverage.
Well, no, and he deals with that very well.
Right. I'm just simply saying you're never going to hear any Republican being called a very fine orator unless they are criticizing a current Republican
You mean
president.
like Wiz Cheney?
Yeah. Or Dick Cheney. Like, I'm sorry. I remember when Dick Cheney was Satan
Wiz is a
himself.
dick.
And the left was all, oh, Dick Cheney's evil. And now it's, oh, yeah, Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney's great. And it's like, wait, hold on. Excuse me. Time out.
Right, of course.
So you're saying basically any Republican who's running for office, they're Satan. And as long as you criticize whoever's running, no matter what you did in the past, the left will be okay with you.
Yeah. I actually saw somebody, an artist that I met at the Frank Frazetta Museum.
Yeah.
And he did a painting that Clyde Barker bought for the new cover of 𝕻𝖎𝖎𝖏𝖓𝖏.
Okay.
And he was pretty much all over on the left. He's a vet, and he's like, I can't understand why the people on the left right now are touting an individual that's being backed by all the people that were evil when the Iraq War was going on.
Well.
Like the people that they were considering evil, that's who they're trying to back right now. Trying to get you to back right now. So I thought that was interesting insight, I guess.
That's why
Definitely a no bullshit guy.
when you have people who want to bash Trump up one side down the other and expect you to vote for Kamala Harris, it's like, no, wait. what policies, what actual policies do you have a problem with? Most of them can't tell you anything.
No, they
And it's
can't.
like, well, then you're just telling me what the Democrat, what you were told to tell me. Because any Republican, no matter what, they could copy Kamala Harris's entire thing, and the Green New Deal on steroids, a wish list of everything that every far left liberal would ever want. But if they're a Republican, the Democrat Party will find them here. But that's the part that I don't understand. Like, there's a lot of stuff that Tulsi Gabbard talked about that I thought, oh, she sounds kind of reasonable. And then she became, she dropped the Democrat Party because she found out that, yeah, you can't just run. You have to be anointed if you're a Democrat.
Well, they are not Democrats anymore. They're not what they were when, they're really extremists is what they are.
Well,
that's what most of the people that I know have that were, left leaning. I think that's what most of the people's problems are, is because they're really almost to the left of communism at this point. Find the fingers that's not got light purple on it. I'm going to do this again. Yeah, I hate politics. I really do. I just don't have any choice, that's all. And when I say you don't have any choice, I mean you can't abstain from politics, because if we do, they're going to do what they're going to do without you resisting, without you putting in your...
Well, that's the thing that I keep thinking about, because for a very long time, whoever was president probably had little direct influence on your life. And to some extent, that's somewhat true. Your Congress has way more of an effect on your life than the president does, usually. But, I mean, when you start seeing executive orders fly on the very first day, and, we're bypassing Congress, and we're using, bureaucracies that are not being held accountable, and we're using them for political gain and against people. Yeah, people have to kind of get involved. Whereas if they backed away and just let us do our thing,
Right?
Hi, Jay. Jay says, "Hey, dudes."
Happening.
When they want to start having bureaucracy say, "Oh, that puddle's a navigable waterway, so we get to control your land." It's like, what? You ever heard Elon Musk talk about how his SpaceX was fined for dumping clean water on the ground?
Yep.
And it's like, yep, that's the government right there.
Did you hear his talk about them telling him that he had to do a study of the odds of a shark getting hit by falling debris from SpaceX?
Nice.
If you haven't heard that, that's fucking funny as hell, dude.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, they told him that he had to see if he would hit a shark with his debris, and he was all like, well, can I have the statistics of how many sharks there are in the Pacific?
Yeah, I need an accurate count. Get on that. When you get those
and
numbers, I'll get on it.
they were like, no, we can't give it to you.
Of course not.
And he's all like, well, why can't you give it to me? And they're all like, we don't want poachers going after the sharks. And so he said he went around with them for a while before he actually got them to let him do it. And then he did all the probabilities, and he's like, yeah, it's a very, very low likelihood that a shark is going to get hit by debris, right? And then he's like, so we're ready and we can go now, right? And they're all like, well, did you do that for sharks? Or for whales? And he's all like, tell me how many whales you can see on the surface of the water right now.
Yeah.
Like at any given time. So he did the numbers, and he's like, no, the likelihood for us hitting a whale with debris is just as low as a shark. And I'll tell you, if a whale gets hit with debris, he deserved it. He said he fucking deserved it. It's like Final Destination for whales.
He wanted it. He wanted it.
It's like Final Destination for whales.
Did NASA ever have to do those studies?
Yeah, right.
It's like, what's the point of the study other than you just want to delay and cost money?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
That's what I hate about government. It's like,
well, that's what government does. That's what a governor does. In a car, a governor slows down the distribution of power. So the whole purpose of a government or governor or governing is to slow down getting anything done. And obviously it's worked well. Yeah, one thing I cannot wait for is this shit to be over.
okay, good luck with that.
Well, it's going to be over. It doesn't. I'm not talking about like, either side is going to fucking blow up when the other side wins. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you're not going to be able to change shit because it's done. I can't wait for us to not have to worry about that bullshit.
I just find it funny that people, okay, so if you're a Republican and you question the last election, you're an election denier and a threat to democracy.
Right.
But there are reports that there are Democrats making plans to refuse to accept the results of the 2024 election.
Yep.
And they're patriots.
They're supposedly ready to not, what the hell is that?
Certify the election.
Certify, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. You want to see a real insurrection? You do shit like that.
And that is the thing right there that concerns me. Yeah. Because
so just say no, we don't believe, like, we're not going to do this. We don't. The people have spoken, and yeah, too bad, we're not going to do it. Yeah. How much the election is stolen from Halloween? Nice, Jay. That's kind of true. Halloween hasn't been very Halloweeny this year. Although the weather's been pretty nice. Although we had to move trick or treat from Thursday to Wednesday because apparently Thursday it's supposed to rain and be nasty. And then people were upset about that because what authority do you have to change when the holiday is? It's like, God, people, just
piss them off entirely and say, well, Trump did it.
Yeah. And if you like Trump, come on.
He changed Halloween. Yeah, right?
Whichever side you're against, that's who did it. So,
right. Come on over here, he asses did it.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
So, this is the 5th color that I put down there. I think I finally let some colors go dry. I tried not to. You saw me. I kept a vigilant effort up. See, now I'm gonna have to buy a whole new brush after this.
Is that because you're too rough on the showing them the business?
It's because of 𝕻𝖎𝖎𝖎𝖓𝖌.
Oh, okay.
It's his fault.
Well, I've always thought he might be a little sticky.
Thank you. I can't wait for me to get this painting done.
Why is that?
Because every time he looks at it, he's like, halfway done? Like, halfway there? Is it there? Halfway there? Is it getting close? Now that on screen looks a lot brighter than it is.
All right.
Now it's my time to stretch. Gotta get a drink.
That's fine. I was just.
Atrocity. What atrocity?
I thought I lost something I had worked on today. I know I had the worst part was that I would have had like my subplans would have been wrong. Oh. Anyway, I found it. All good.
I'm gonna take the banner down for anybody that wants to, if you want to give a review of this. I'm gonna grab a water real quick. I'll be right back. I'm not even leaving the room.
Well, I'm digging it.
Oh, that's good because you're the one that's got to.
Well, that's true. But in case you needed a word of encouragement.
We got some hots, we got some colds.
Yep.
This is definitely not the finest detail I want to put in here, but it's getting there. Got probably about 20 more minutes, right?
Yeah.
What can I do in 20 minutes that won't fuck everything up?
Well, you don't need. I mean, if you're at a stopping point, we can stop.
Well, it's not done, so you know.
I realize that. I'm just really saying. You know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna purposely screw stuff up because I'm trying to get something else in there. But.
No, I was thinking more like they always tell teachers, teach from bell to bell. You know, like you should always be doing something, which is actually really bad advice. And whatever, that's more of that factory mentality that doesn't really work. But hey, whatever.
Sometimes I find that if I'm like working in front of the client like you,
yeah,
it kind of forces me to think more.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not, then I can just kind of fuck off for a while and go around, watch a TV show, check my email.
Well, I understand that.
This kind of forces me to do some shit.
I always find it funny when you have administrators tell you, on one hand, it's really important to form connections with your students. Okay. Well, instructional time is not really the most connective moment in life. Right. So sometimes, you know, if your lesson is done early, you don't have to fill the time. And there are administrators that will argue with me all day long, which is stupid. The same ones that will tell you that you need to make a connection with students, but then they don't want you ever sitting around talking with your students. It's just like, okay. It's just one of those things where you have to kind of, I mean, again, if you're doing it every day, there's a problem. You know, there's always something. Don't get me wrong. Like, you should not have a whole bunch of time just to sit around and talk. But at the same time, it shouldn't be like, oh my gosh, I've got 5 more minutes left and I have nothing planned. So?
I've been watching a guy. I should probably figure out his name so I can look him back up. But he's a British guy, kind of portly, much better hair than I have. But he was in advertising and stuff, and
So it's not Jason Statham.
no, this is a no, just no.
I was being facetious because you said, he's got better hair than you.
Yeah. But he was talking about how he's like, psychologically, everything that we've done to the office is terrible. And he just breaks it down about all the ways that it's just wrong. And he goes, and the one thing that was actually increasing employee happiness and satisfaction, as well as increasing productivity, supposedly, was allowing people to work from home, or at least to have more of a flexible schedule where people can work from home. But because people like that, employers hate it. It's like, yeah, okay. So some of the stuff, like my class, I can tell you right now, every single day there's at least 5 assignments. 5. And there are some students who can rip through those assignments relatively quickly, and I don't really care because you're getting the practice that you need. And there are longer assignments that take longer, but on some days it's relatively quick. If you get it, you get it. You don't have to spend forever on it. And then the slower kids have more time to get caught up. And I'm not saying anything about my own personal administration right now, because A, they haven't evaluated me, and B, I don't think they would be upset. But I know that some people think if the students have time at the to read a book or something, that you must not be filling your hour right. And I'm like, how many assignments would you like the students to do before you admit that they're doing work and that they're learning and they're practicing the stuff they need to practice? I mean, today they had a bell ringer, which was an exercise on irony, spotting the 3 different types. They had a vocabulary practice. They had a reading practice. They had a grammar practice. And then they had some writing exercises dealing with details versus commentary. And that's 5 different things that they're working on: reading, writing, grammar, vocabulary. I mean, it's all there. So if somebody gets it done in 15 minutes versus 50, okay, why should that be a big problem? But it's like if you think about it, everything else in life has gotten faster. The school day has not gotten shorter.
Well, I think that's partially because they want you guys to babysit the kids.
Oh, I absolutely, 100%.
Instead of let them, the kids.
Oh, 100%. And the funny part is, if they would admit that, they could probably structure schools better. But, we don't do that. And instead we have the same model that we've had since, the 20s or whatever, and actually the 1800s.
Well, who's counting?
Well, it's the Prussian model, and it's dumb. It's fine for factory work.
The depression model.
Yeah, well, in more ways than one.
Right.
But whatever. We'll see.
I was only being halfway facetious.
And I'm teaching kids at a young enough grade level now. Like in high school, if you're coming to school because you can't, and you can't stay awake, I generally blame the high school kid, just as I would blame my own children. Like, if I ever got a report that 𝕻𝖎𝖎𝖎𝖏𝖎𝖏 Thaddeus couldn't stay awake, I would be concerned there's a medical issue, and barring that, I would, have to parent and be like, no, you're going to bed now. You're giving me your phone, you're giving me your earbuds, and you're going to bed now because you apparently can't figure out how to do it on your own yet. But, for the most part, my children do a pretty good job regulating because they've been raised, and I got lucky, But I had a kid the other day. There was a kid who. Okay, so 10 minutes into class, they have their opening activity, right? And then we were supposed to go to the library. And those 10 minutes, that kid fell asleep. And when I tried to wake him up, I'm like, hey man, like we're going to the library. Nothing. Alan. Call his name. Nothing. I knock on his desk. Nothing. Finally, I pulled his desk because he was resting on it. And he caught himself falling over. And he was completely, he's out of it. That's how tired this kid is. Just out. And his friends finally could, kind of guide him up to the library. And within like 3 minutes, the kid's asleep again. We're only in the library for 10 minutes. And his friends have to wake him up. And this is on the 3rd floor, and I'm on the 1st. So he had to go up 3 flights of stairs, and he still fell asleep that fast. He came down 3 flights of stairs, and again, I had to pull the desk out so he'd go to lunch. This kid is exhausted. And I'm like, well, I feel bad for him. And I know some teachers are just, I don't know, I guess they're more jaded than I am. I thought I was pretty jaded, but I'm like, this kid needs help, like something fierce. And it breaks my heart. But whatever. That eyeball is super awesome, by the way.
I'm very glad because I've done like 4 layers. I've even got reflected eyelashes in it.
Here, just.
Well, let me get it in the center of the camera first.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Nobody's here to see me.
I don't know about that. So,
I remember once I was at a conference, an AP conference, and the teacher's like, "You're kind of quiet over there." I'm like, "Nobody paid to hear me talk."
here's the eye, the eyelashes, the reflections in the.
Yeah, this thing is dope.
I don't know if I can do that with the bottom part. I'll give it a shot. Only got so much desk and I'll knock shit off, so. Let me move some stuff. Let's see how far I can get. That's it. Get it.
Okay, so ever since you said that thing about the horns and the motorcycle bars, yeah, it's just because he's like, he's the smallest thing on the whole thing, right?
Right.
And so a lot of it's kind of just implied, but it definitely gives this almost biker vibe, which I find very, very cool.
I kind of think that he would be Troll biker, if there were troll bikers.
Yeah.
Not far along now. Got some small details to put in. I think I'll wait though because I don't want to feel like I'm going to try to rush those small details. That's generally when it screws up.
Okay.
I've got some small details to put in, like through here. I may end up going in with a colored pencil on some of it. I've got I'm gonna put a lighter color on some spots on him.
Yeah.
To bring him off just a little bit. I'm only going to focus on his face, like I'm really focused on her eye and nose and lip. The eye, the big part. I'm pretty happy with his armor. We got to get the hair done yet, so. Not all that bad considering his head is this big.
Okay.
I didn't use that brush. Put that aside for next time. I'll use it next time.
I was about to say, and why not?
Right, because the last thing I'm going to do is the fog over here, right?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I did a little bit of it really late, kind of scumbling layer.
Yeah.
There are so many colors in him. He's got more colors in him than anybody else in the whole thing, and they're practically invisible because of the way they're set. That's always been something that's blown my mind when staring at paintings. Is you stare and stare and stare, and all there's red, there's blue, there's purple, there's green, there's brown, there's yellow, there's orange. So I guess the big question is, do you want lines around any of that, or you just want to leave it painting?
Whatever you think is going to look best, man. I trust you. I really don't. I mean,
They look different. I mean, it's a different look. If I put lines in it, there's a little bit of a cartoon aspect that's added to it.
Yeah.
I don't think that necessarily weakens it. It's just a stylistic approach, right? Like,
Okay.
I'll give you an example.
That would help.
Here, a second here. Johann Egerkrans. 𝕻𝖎𝖎𝖎𝖓𝖌. He does a lot of like Magic the Gathering cards, but if you look at it, they're really cool, stylistic.
okay, spell that again.
Johann, Johan, Egerkrans, 𝕻𝖎𝖎𝖓𝖌.
Look at the images. Oh, those are fun.
Yeah, but like if you look at them, they're really cool as far as value-wise, tonal-wise, And then you've got that a little bit of an outline aspect of it that kind of really adds something extra and cool to it.
I like it.
So I guess that's what I'm saying is, do you want to do that? Because we can do that with him. We can do that with all of them as they fade back. It'll just be like less on him than it would be on him. And I probably wouldn't do it on her because I want her in the background.
Okay.
But you could clarify snarl a little bit and the horns a little bit, and then kind of make the lines start disappearing here, or even use, go into color pencil and make them start disappearing. And I can do that before I scumble the last of the fog in. So that's an interesting aspect for me. So you think that's a good idea, or?
Yeah, sounds great.
That's what we'll do next time.
All right.
We'll throw some lines around it and kind of make it a little bit more cartoony, except for her.
Cool. All right.
That seems like a more fun fantasy type story, right?
Yeah.
At least that's my thinking on the matter. Anyway, I mean, you can go either way. Like, I can just go for the next step of realism if you want.
I
think this is kind of fun the way it is. So.
I
Got
like
a couple
the
more comments, or did you throw something up? Yep.
Oh, I just threw the thing about liking,
and
subscribing, following, thumbs up, the bird, whatever. God, they should have a button like that.
You don't have to. Oh yeah, you know. Never mind. You do. It's just not close to the other ones.
Like it shouldn't be the thumbs up or a thumbs down. It should be the thumbs up or the bird.
Right.
Or they should have that on Twitter. That's what they should use on X. They should have a thumbs up or a bird.
Suggested he might.
Man, that would be a great way to get famous. The man who suggested putting a bird on X.
I don't know if that would make you famous, but
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm surprised Elon Musk hasn't thought of it himself.
probably has.
Here's my artist tape. Oh, damn it. I didn't have all that much artist tape left, and I think he took it and used the rest of it.
Yeah.
So done. Because this tape is wanting to come undone, so I'll put this. I worry about putting the regular masking tape on it, because the regular masking tape is hard to get off without ripping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just taping down the tape at this point. I'm taping down the tape.
That was, oh my God, I had to come up with 60 different examples of irony so I could have a question bank of questions about irony.
There's like what, 2 different kinds of irony, right? Situational.
No, there are 3. There are 3. There's dramatic, situational, and verbal.
Right. Okay. So I knew situational and verbal. Yeah, I guess I kind of knew dramatic, but I didn't know how it was separate from.
Dramatic irony is the easiest example is when you watch a horror film and the killer's behind somebody, and so you know where the killer is in relationship to the victim, but the victim doesn't know. So you know something the audience knows something the characters don't.
Yeah, that's what Hitchcock calls suspense.
That's funny, and you're right.
When the audience knows something bad's going to happen, but the characters don't, that's suspense. When everybody knows something's bad going to happen and there's a countdown, then that's thriller. That's how he defined the separation between the two.
Huh. Well, whatever. Anyway,
I just thought it was interesting. So
I do too. Actually, I think that's very cool.
So basically, suspense is dramatic irony.
According to Hitchcock, sort of.
Well, Hitchcock would know about suspense.
That's true. That's why. But I find that funny. But yeah. And
Right. Oh no, go ahead.
no, you're fine.
No, I was just gonna say, the normal good night, God bless, much love.
Oh well, then peace out. Talk to you guys later. Bye.